You've got to be kidding me right now. Paul Heyman just made a move so calculated, so brilliantly manipulative, that it's going to completely reshape the entire landscape of Monday Night Raw and nobody saw it coming. Austin Theory. Austin Theory. The golden boy who WWE has tried to push down our throats for years, the same guy who failed cash in after failed opportunity, is now being hand-selected by the Wiseman himself for something massive. And here's what's going to make your blood boil: this isn't about giving Theory another chance. This is about Paul Heyman using him as a disposable pawn in whatever chess game he's playing, and Theory is either too ambitious or too stupid to see it. Stick around because what I'm about to expose is going to change how you see everything happening on Raw right now. Let me paint you the full picture here, because backstage politics in WWE are messy than ever, and Paul Heyman is pulling strings like the puppet master he's always been. Reports came out just days ago that Heyman approached Austin Theory backstage at Raw with what insiders are calling an offer he couldn't refuse. Now, we don't have every single detail locked down yet, but what we do know is that Heyman has been assembling pieces for a major match on Raw, and Theory's name is now front and center in those plans. Here's where it gets interesting and infuriating. Austin Theory has been floundering for months. Remember when he was Mr. Money in the Bank? Remember how that ended? He cashed in on Seth Rollins and got absolutely decimated. Since then, WWE Creative has thrown everything at the wall trying to make Theory stick as a main event player, and nothing has worked. The crowd doesn't buy him. The locker room doesn't respect him. And yet, here comes Paul Heyman, the greatest advocate in sports entertainment history, suddenly taking an interest in this kid. Why? Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer this in the comments. Do you think Austin Theory is what it takes to be in the main event scene, or is he just another failed project that WWE refuses to give up on? Drop your honest thoughts below because I guarantee this comments section is going to be divided. The timing of this is suspicious. Heyman doesn't make moves without Roman Reigns' influence, or at least, he didn't until recently. With Roman on a reduced schedule and the Bloodline storyline evolving in ways nobody predicted, Heyman has been operating with more autonomy. And that's dangerous. This man orchestrated Brock Lesnar's most dominant runs, he's been the brains behind Roman's historic title reign, and now he's setting his sights on Austin Theory? There's a bigger plan here, and it involves using Theory as either a weapon or a sacrifice. Let's talk about what this vision might actually be. According to backstage sources, Heyman has been pitching a high-stakes match on Raw that would involve multiple competitors, and Theory is being positioned as a central figure. Some reports suggest this could be building toward a #1 contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Others claim Heyman is constructing something even more elaborate, possibly a multi-man match that serves as a launching pad for a new faction or alliance. And here's what should terrify every Austin Theory fan out there: Paul Heyman doesn't build people up unless it serves his interests. Look at his history. He elevated CM Punk, but it was always about promoting himself as the genius behind the genius. He made Brock Lesnar an unstoppable monster, but Lesnar didn't need Heyman. Heyman needed Lesnar to stay relevant. Even with Roman Reigns, while he played the loyal Wiseman, he was always protecting his own legacy. So what does he want with Theory? Theory brings something to the table that Heyman can exploit: desperation. Theory needs this. His career has been on life support, and he knows it. He's young, hungry, and willing to do whatever it takes to get back in the spotlight. That makes him the perfect puppet. Heyman can dangle opportunity in front of Theory's face, make him believe he's being elevated to the next level, all while using him to further whatever endgame he has planned. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: is this going to work? Can Paul Heyman actually rehabilitate Austin Theory's image and turn him into a credible threat? Here's my take, and you're probably not going to like it, maybe. And that's what's so frustrating about this whole situation. Heyman is one of the greatest minds in wrestling history. If anyone can take a struggling talent and repackage them into something special, it's him. But should he? Should WWE be investing more time and energy into Austin Theory when there are hungry, talented performers in that locker room who have been waiting years for their opportunity? Think about guys like Bronson Reed, who's been delivering bone-crushing performances week after week. Think about Ludwig Kaiser, who's been putting on technical clinics. Think about Dragon Lee, Ilja Dragunov, or any number of performers who could use that Paul Heyman rub. But no, WWE is doubling down on Theory again. And before you Theory fans come at me in the comments, I'm not saying the kid has zero talent. He's athletic, he can work a decent match, and he has the look WWE loves. But he's been given chance after chance after chance, and he hasn't delivered when it matters most. Here's another question for you: who would you rather see Paul Heyman manage instead of Austin Theory? Give me names in the comments because I'm genuinely curious who you think deserves this opportunity more. Let's dive deeper into what Heyman's actual plan might be. One theory, pun intended, is that this is all leading to a collision course between Austin Theory and someone Heyman wants to protect or elevate. Remember, Heyman plays 4D chess. He doesn't just think about the next week or the next pay-per-view, he's thinking 6 months down the line. What if Heyman is building Theory up specifically to feed him to someone else? What if Theory is being positioned as the perfect opponent for a returning star or a debuting NXT call-up? There's also the possibility that this is about creating conflict within an existing storyline. Heyman's fingerprints are still all over the Bloodline saga, even with Solo Sikoa trying to establish himself as the new tribal chief. What if adding Theory to the mix is designed to create tension, jealousy, or competition? What if Heyman is using Theory to manipulate Solo, or to send a message to Roman that he's moving on and building something new? The layers here are endless, and that's what makes Paul Heyman so damn good at what he does. But let's talk about Austin Theory's perspective in all of this. From his point of view, this is a golden ticket. Getting associated with Paul Heyman means instant credibility, or at least, the potential for it. It means more screen time, better storylines, and a direct connection to WWE's top tier. Theory would be crazy to turn this down, and I don't blame him for jumping at the opportunity. But here's what he needs to understand: Paul Heyman's loyalty is to Paul Heyman. The moment Theory stops being useful, he'll be cast aside like yesterday's news. We've seen it happen before. Look at Curtis Axel, who was repackaged as Paul Heyman guy and given a monster push, until he wasn't. Look at Cesaro, who had a brief association with Heyman that went absolutely nowhere. Even Ryback had dealings with Heyman that ended in disaster. The point is, being a Paul Heyman guy is a double-edged sword. If you succeed big. But if you fail spectacularly, and everyone remembers it. Now, here's where things get even more complicated. There are rumors, and take these with a grain of salt because nothing is confirmed, that other superstars backstage are not happy about Heyman taking Theory under his wing. Some veterans apparently feel like Theory hasn't paid his dues and doesn't deserve this kind of attention. Others are reportedly frustrated that Heyman is spending his political capital on Theory instead of advocating for talent they believe is more deserving. This creates a fascinating dynamic because WWE locker rooms are political battlegrounds. Who you're aligned with matters. Who's pushing for you matters. And if Paul Heyman is publicly backing Austin Theory, that automatically makes him a target for anyone who has beef with Heyman, and trust me, there are people in that locker room who have beef with Heyman. Let me throw another question at you: do you think WWE locker room politics should play into storylines, or should everything be based purely on talent and fan reaction? Hit me with your thoughts below because this is a debate that never gets old. Let's also consider what this means for Raw as a brand. Monday Night Raw has been struggling with consistency lately. Some weeks it's absolutely fire, and other weeks it feels like nothing of consequence happens. Adding a Paul Heyman-backed Austin Theory to the main event scene could inject new life into the show, or it could be another example of WWE forcing something that fans don't want to see. The reaction from the live crowd will be crucial. If Theory comes out with Heyman by his side and gets booed out of the building, not the good heel heat, but the change the channel heat, WWE might have to pivot quickly. On the flip side, Heyman has a proven track record of getting people over. He got Roman Reigns over when fans were ready to riot every time Roman appeared. If he can work that same magic with Theory, we might actually see the kid reach his potential. But it's a massive if. Here's what I think Heyman's ultimate vision is: he wants to create chaos. Chaos benefits Paul Heyman because it puts him at the center of attention. By adding Austin Theory to whatever match he's planning, he's guaranteed to generate discussion, controversy, and unpredictability. Whether fans love it or hate it, they'll be talking about it. And in WWE, being talked about is currency. The match itself, whatever it ends up being, is probably going to be loaded with talent. We're likely looking at a multi-man situation where Theory is positioned alongside established stars. This serves multiple purposes. It protects Theory from having to carry a singles match, it allows Heyman to showcase his storytelling abilities with multiple moving parts, and it creates opportunities for surprise twists and turns. Think about this scenario: what if Heyman has been secretly recruiting multiple people, not just Theory? What if this is the formation of a new faction designed to challenge existing power structures on Raw? Heyman's greatest successes have often involved groups: the Dangerous Alliance, the Heyman guys during the ECW days, even the Bloodline to an extent. A Heyman-led faction with Austin Theory as one of several members could actually be compelling television. And this is a big but, it could also be a complete disaster if executed poorly. WWE has a bad habit of starting factions with tons of hype and then abandoning them within months. The Retribution, the Hurt Business Dissolution, countless other examples where promising groups fell apart due to lack of creative direction. If Heyman's vision involves assembling a team, WWE needs to commit to it long-term. Another angle we haven't discussed: what if this is all a swerve? What if Heyman is publicly courting Austin Theory just to set him up for a massive betrayal? What if the real plan is to build Theory up, get him invested in whatever Heyman is selling, and then have someone aligned with Heyman destroy Theory when he least expects it? That would be vintage Paul Heyman manipulation, and it would generate nuclear heat. Quick question for the comments section: would you rather see Austin Theory succeed with Paul Heyman's help, or would you rather see Heyman betray him in the most brutal way possible? I'm curious where your allegiances lie. Let's wrap this up by talking about what this means for the future. If Heyman's gamble on Theory pays off, we could be looking at a completely revitalized Austin Theory who finally lives up to the potential WWE has always seen in him. He could become a legitimate main eventer, a future world champion, and someone fans actually invest in. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario? This is another failed experiment that wastes everyone's time, damages Theory's credibility even further, and makes Paul Heyman look like he's lost his touch. It could set Theory back years and make him the punchline of jokes for the rest of his career. The most likely scenario? Somewhere in between. We'll get some entertaining television, some compelling promos from Heyman, and Theory will have a few memorable moments before WWE moves on to the next big thing. That's how WWE operates. Everything is always building to the next thing, and very few storylines get the proper payoff they deserve. But here's why you need to keep watching, because Paul Heyman always has a twist. Just when you think you've figured out where he's going, he zigs when you expect him to zag. This Austin Theory situation could evolve into something we never saw coming. It could connect to Roman Reigns' return. It could tie into The Rock showing up at WrestleMania season. It could be the foundation for a storyline that dominates WWE programming for the next year. Or it could fizzle out in 3 weeks and we'll all forget it happened. That's the frustrating beauty of WWE right now. You never quite know if they're going to deliver or disappoint. But with Paul Heyman involved, the odds of something interesting happening go way up. So here's my final question for you, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Paul Heyman can make Austin Theory into a legitimate main event star? Be honest in the comments because I want to see if we're all on the same page or if this community is completely split. The bottom line is this: Paul Heyman adding Austin Theory to his vision for a match on WWE Raw is either going to be a stroke of genius or a massive mistake. There's no middle ground with something like this. Theory's career is at a crossroads, Heyman's legacy is always on the line, and Raw desperately needs fresh, compelling storylines that fans actually care about. Whether you love Austin Theory or think he's overrated, whether you trust Paul Heyman's judgment or think he's lost his fastball, you have to admit this is going to be must-see television. The potential for greatness is there. The potential for disaster is equally present. And that tension, that uncertainty, is exactly what makes pro wrestling addictive. Keep your eyes on Raw, pay attention to every Heyman promo, and watch how Austin Theory carries himself in the coming weeks. This story is just beginning, and if history has taught us anything about Paul Heyman, it's that the journey is always unpredictable and the destination is never what we expect.